A single uranium pellet the size of your fingertip contains as much energy as a ton of coal, 149 gallons of oil, or 17,000 cubic feet of natural gas. That's not science fiction. That's the reality of nuclear power that's been lighting up cities for over 60 years. While the world panics about climate change and energy security, we're sitting on a solution that could power civilization for thousands of years, yet we're too scared to use it. Here's the untold story of why nuclear energy isn't just good, it's absolutely essential for humanity's survival, and the 3 reasons that will change everything you thought you knew about atomic power. Right now, France is proving the world wrong about nuclear energy. While Germany shut down its nuclear plants and watched its electricity prices skyrocket and carbon emissions increase, France quietly generates 70% of its electricity from nuclear power. The result? France has the cleanest electricity grid of any major industrialized nation and exports power to its neighbors who claimed nuclear was too dangerous. French citizens pay half what Germans pay for electricity, and their carbon footprint from electricity is 10 times smaller. But nuclear power's story in America has been one of missed opportunities and manufactured fear. In the 1970s, we were building nuclear plants at a breakneck pace, on track to decarbonize our entire electrical grid by the year 2000. Then came 3 Mile Island in 1979, an accident that killed exactly 0 people but terrified millions. Construction ground to a halt. Coal and natural gas filled the gap. We chose air pollution that kills thousands annually over a technology that had harmed no one. The numbers tell a story that should make everyone furious. Since 1954, nuclear power has prevented an estimated 1.84 million deaths by displacing fossil fuels. That's not a projection. That's historical fact based on air pollution data. Meanwhile, coal kills more people every single day than nuclear power has killed in its entire history, including Chernobyl and Fukushima. We're so afraid of the dramatic but rare nuclear accident that we've accepted the silent massacre of fossil fuel pollution. Here's what the anti-nuclear movement doesn't want you to know. We've already solved the problems that make people afraid of nuclear power. The technology has evolved far beyond the reactors of the 1960s. Modern designs are walk-away safe. They physically cannot melt down. The waste problem that everyone worries about? The entire amount of nuclear waste produced by the United States since the 1950s could fit on a single football field, stacked 10 yards high. Compare that to the 3 billion tons of CO2 that coal plants dump into our atmosphere every year. Reason number 1, incredible energy density. The first reason nuclear energy is awesome comes down to simple physics. Nothing else comes close to its energy density. When you split a uranium atom, you release 2 million times more energy than burning a carbon atom in coal. This isn't a minor improvement. It's a complete paradigm shift in how we think about power generation. Let's put this in perspective. The Diablo Canyon nuclear plant in California produces 18,000 gigawatt hours of clean electricity annually from just 750 acres. To generate the same amount of power, you'd need 90,000 acres of solar panels. That's 120 times more land. For wind power, you'd need 430,000 acres. But here's the real kicker. Nuclear runs 24/7, while solar and wind are intermittent. When you factor in capacity factors, the land use difference becomes even more staggering. This energy density translates directly into resource efficiency. A typical nuclear plant uses 200 tons of uranium per year. A coal plant producing the same power burns 3.5 million tons of coal. That's 17,500 times more fuel that needs to be mined, transported, and handled. Every step in that chain has environmental impacts, worker safety risks, and carbon emissions. Nuclear's tiny fuel requirement means minimal mining impact and virtually no transportation emissions. The density advantage extends to the waste stream too. That same nuclear plant produces about 20 tons of spent fuel per year, waste that's solid, contained, and manageable. The coal plant produces 400,000 tons of toxic ash, containing arsenic, mercury, and radioactive elements. Yes, radioactive. Coal ash is actually more radioactive than nuclear waste per unit of energy produced. We just spread it around instead of containing it. But perhaps the most mind-blowing aspect of nuclear energy density is what it means for the future. The United States has already mined enough uranium to power the entire country for 1,000 years using advanced reactors that can extract 100 times more energy from the same fuel. We're literally sitting on a millennium of clean energy, already out of the ground, waiting to be used. Reason number 2, unmatched reliability and safety. The second reason nuclear energy is awesome shatters the biggest myth holding it back. Nuclear is actually the safest form of energy generation humanity has ever developed. This isn't opinion, it's documented fact based on deaths per unit of energy produced. Nuclear power is 330 times safer than coal, 250 times safer than oil, and 40 times safer than natural gas. It's even safer than wind and solar when you account for industrial accidents during manufacturing and installation. Nuclear plants are engineering marvels designed with defense in depth. A modern reactor has multiple independent safety systems, each capable of shutting down the plant on its own. The reactor core sits inside a steel pressure vessel 8 inches thick, which sits inside a containment building of reinforced concrete 4 feet thick, designed to withstand a direct hit from a commercial airliner. The fuel itself is ceramic pellets that can withstand temperatures higher than lava without melting. The reliability statistics are staggering. Nuclear plants in the US operate at 93% capacity factor, meaning they're producing maximum power 93% of the time. Solar averages 25%, wind averages 35%, natural gas averages 57%. This isn't because nuclear is lucky, it's because nuclear plants are built to run continuously for 18 to 24 months between refueling. They don't care about weather, seasons, or time of day. When you flip a switch, nuclear delivers. Modern reactor designs have eliminated even the possibility of the accidents that terrified previous generations. Generation 4 reactors use passive safety systems that require no human intervention and no external power. If something goes wrong, physics itself shuts down the reaction. The fuel can't melt because it's already in liquid form. The coolant can't boil away because it operates at atmospheric pressure. These aren't theoretical improvements. China is already operating these reactors commercially. The safety record speaks for itself. In the entire history of American commercial nuclear power, over 3,500 reactor years, there has been exactly one accident that released radiation: 3 Mile Island. The maximum dose received by anyone was equivalent to a chest X-ray. Meanwhile, fossil fuel accidents kill thousands annually. The Bengkai Dam collapse in China killed 170,000 people. The Bhopal chemical disaster killed 20,000. But we remember Chernobyl, which killed 31 people directly and perhaps 4,000 from long-term effects, as the ultimate industrial catastrophe. Our risk perception is completely backwards. Here's what the anti-nuclear movement doesn't want you to know. We've already solved the problems that make people afraid of nuclear power. The technology has evolved far beyond the reactors of the 1960s. Modern designs are walk-away safe. They physically cannot melt down. The waste problem that everyone worries about? The entire amount of nuclear waste produced by the United States since the 1950s could fit on a single football field stacked 10 yards high. Compare that to the 3 billion tons of CO2 that coal plants dump into our atmosphere every year. Reason number 3, climate game changer. The third reason nuclear energy is awesome is the most urgent. It's the only proven technology that can decarbonize our grid at the scale and speed required to avoid climate catastrophe. This isn't speculation. We have real-world proof. When France decided to go nuclear in the 1970s, they decarbonized their entire electrical grid in just 15 years. No other country has come close to matching this achievement with renewables alone. The math of climate change is brutal and unforgiving. To limit warming to 2 degrees Celsius, we need to reach net zero emissions by 2050. That means replacing 84% of our current energy system in just 25 years. Solar and wind are growing fast, but they face fundamental limitations. They're intermittent, requiring massive battery storage that doesn't exist yet at scale.
They're diffuse, requiring enormous land areas that compete with agriculture and ecosystems. They're material-intensive, requiring millions of tons of concrete, steel, and rare earth elements. Nuclear sidesteps all these problems. A single nuclear plant can replace multiple coal plants without requiring any storage, any backup, or any lifestyle changes. South Korea proved this by building their nuclear fleet in just 20 years, achieving one of the world's cleanest electricity grids while maintaining some of the lowest electricity prices. They didn't need breakthrough technologies or massive subsidies, just the political will to build. The climate impact of nuclear is immediate and dramatic. When Germany shut down its nuclear plants, it had to burn more coal and natural gas, increasing emissions by 36 million tons of CO2 annually. When Japan shut down its reactors after Fukushima, emissions jumped by 250 million tons per year. These aren't small numbers. That's equivalent to adding 50